Beloved soul family, bringers of change. What a ride! What a ride. Coming to you from my very human representation right now. I am Geeia Ariati. I have been assigned Oracle for the 144 and beyond. I am of sound heart and sound mind. And I have some sharing and some updating around what took place collectively with the service for humanity over the eclipse. I'm going to wait for a couple of people to jump on when you're landing. Welcome, hello. Make sure that you interact with these live videos, as these live videos allow for other soul family to connect, to resonate, to receive the activations of truth, and to assist them in hearing the information that is to be shared. So, the eclipse. Okay. The process of the eclipse, without going into details of what I'm aware of, and there was many profound worldwide experiences that will never be experienced again. And why that is because that was a 42,000 year opportunity, and that eclipse, one, it will never be in our lifetime again, but the cycle that was created with the energy signature. So that eclipse allowed for some pretty miraculous, superhuman, multi-dimensional experiences to take place. Now, some of you may have been involved in mass gatherings and experienced massive shifts and changes. Some of you may have seen it in nature in ways that were a little confusing. So there was 2 moons. Interesting. And there was a lot of different things that were taking place. Now, leading up to this, we've been seeing an immense amount of rainbows. There's been a lot of rainbow energy coming in, and rainbows that look like neon lights. We've seen these rainbows that I've never seen in my life. I've never seen the colors. They look like false light rainbows almost, because of how bright they are, how extremely they're not the soft, I guess, pastels and the beautiful bright expressions of a rainbow, but these rainbows have been like super intense in color. Sometimes there's double and triple rainbows with them. So and we're seeing them in full circles, so that you're seeing rainbow portals and different things in this lead up. Now, why am I talking about rainbow energy? Because what took place was the shift of our mother Geia, Sister Tara's earth molecular structure. Her chakra system was in a carbon formation. So her chakras had come into this carbon density energy, and she realigned to a rainbow energy signature. So this rainbow frequency that was brought in by so many light beings channeling down light frequency and angelic consciousnesses, and for all of the beings that were placing their intention into the earth and allowing for Great Mother, Sister Tara, to experience these higher opportunities of ascension and different dimensional frequencies, allowed for this shift to take place. Her realignment, if we see Geia and we see our Great Mother as a being, she has a light body. So her light body realigned with our light bodies. So if we were very intentional and conscious in realigning that energy signature, that frequency transitioned into a rainbow grid. So there's been rainbow gridding that's taken place all through the inner earth. So if you have the capacity and ability, go have a look-see. Go have a little discovery down in the inner earth's crust. Go and feel through the rainbow expression that's been placed in the grid work, and see what you can receive. So we are now able to, with our physical organic matter, so our physical vessel represents our great mothers, the land. That is her body. Her body is the matter that we walk on, that we're held on every day, that supports our nourishment of this human experience. And so her body is our body. So her body is now going into the rainbow realignment to match her chakra systems. And we are able to receive that for our own organic matter. Why is this amazing? For beings that are here, so the ones that listen to me, the bringers of change, the 144, the star seeds, for the individuals that are here to evolve the planet, we come with higher frequencies that are not from Earth. We don't land in our bodies very easily, and we really struggle to stay in our bodies. Now, when we're going through ascension, we have a lot of ascension symptoms while we're bringing in higher frequencies, while we're remembering and retaining who we are. What happens is that our body struggles so much, that what we've gone through within our cellular memory is absolutely transformative and extremely challenging on our beautiful vessels. And so we have a lot of bloating, brain fatigue, a lot of realignment. Our bones are realigning, our organs are transmuting, our organs are releasing disease, where truly our vessels are quite remarkable to be able to hold this much frequency. And it's also no wonder that we haven't been able to function very well in this reality, especially in the last few years up to this tipping point. Many beings being bedridden, many beings not being able to work, many beings not having enough energy to sustain exercise. There is a lot of physical symptoms that have taken place for many of you in this process. And what's happened is that's because the crystalline energy of the high frequency of light that you are comes in your light body, and it starts to work from the inside. Now we can receive this rainbow light to work on our outside. So our vessels are going to actually start to feel like they can hold and retain more of the light that we're coming in. Not that that rainbow light is the level of angelics, and we're all at different levels of evolution. Some of you are angelic beings and some of you are galactic beings, and you all hold different consciousness and frequency. But the rainbow frequency is a fifth dimensional frequency. So our bodies can now start to move to a fifth dimensional organic structure, which is going to support us to hold the light with less brain fog, headaches, physical symptoms, heart palpitations, nervous system responses. We're going to be able to actually be more in our human experience because our body's not going to be under as much pressure. So that's one of the main shifts for you as a physical being, is go and connect to her. Go and ask for your body to become her body, and allow yourself to receive this rainbow light so that your transition through this period is more easeful as well. You will receive it just from walking on the land bare feet and doing that. But if you want to receive it in one go and envision receiving the rainbow light grids, that will be very helpful for you. Now that we've landed this timeline and it is anchored, yay! We have landed it, it is anchored, it is here. We have a 40-day process of solidification. So this solidification time is about not concentrating on ascending, not concentrating on gaining more power, not concentrating on creating new things, not concentrating on any evolution, really. That's what it's about. It's actually, I've landed, I've arrived. We've arrived. Now what we need to do is solidify, anchor, become integrated in what you've come to. So this is integration phase. This is important time. If we want this anchored timeline to stay, then we need to stay in our current frequency. So we need to be very sure that we are focusing on our body practices, our breath, movement, the softness of what our bodies need for massage and diet and sleep and rest. So this is about you. This is now about, okay, I've been in deep service. Now I've just got to step back for a while, and I need to be solidifying my current creations, anything that I've already created. I wouldn't be placing any time in new creations. I wouldn't be placing any time in new relationships. I wouldn't be placing time in new friendships. This is a time to just be with what you already have in your life. Anything that you'd already planned before the eclipse that was aligned and true with source, continue with that and continue on that path, but nothing new. Those seeds that you want to create, you need to wait for this solidification time to take place, because it won't be supportive to you and your nervous system, nor will it be supportive to continuing to hold and anchor this timeline. So rest, focus on what's already alive, focus on the relationships that are here. For the ones that are a little further behind, and this doesn't mean that you've missed the choice point, it doesn't mean anything like that. It just means that your evolution might have your integration pieces are coming. You're on the ripple effect of what took place on the eclipse, and you are still going to be going through the letting go. So some of us have led this eclipse, and we've done what we needed to do weeks before so that we could anchor and hold the space. So weeks, months, whatever it was for each individual. And now they've been in service to hold space for the others that are coming through the second wave. Now there's a final wave of beings that are choosing to line up to this rainbow frequency and to their highest timeline. So for those that are on the last wave of this transition, you are still required to look at what needs to be let go of, relationships that need to be let go of, letting go of living situations that are not aligned, still doing a bit of cleanup for you to know what is it that I need to do to line up to my highest timeline so that I'm still receiving this opportunity into the transition phase, into the new earth structure. There will be quite a rebellion. So for the less positive and more truthful aspect of this sharing is that there is a rebellion. So what I can share around the absolutely life-changing, profound ceremony that I facilitated with some support from some beautiful sisters, and we will be doing retreats around the world for women and for men, and I will be with high-level leaders that have this capacity and ability to transform spaces very quickly, but also be very prepared. However, I'm aware that I will never ever create a space like I did on the eclipse, It was a co-created space with all of the sisters that came, and these were not regular. It's the truth. They weren't regular human beings. They were all extremely highly evolved energies from the angelic consciousness that are the original goddesses and the original divine race of the creators of this earth. So bringing in individuals, 15 individuals that anchored in extreme purification. So their purification process, I've been doing the purification process myself for specifically it finished up in November of last year, and that purification, because I was doing it through source guidance and through the mirrors of my experience, and we were fumbling through what we had no idea what we were actually doing until we were learning the processes along the way, and remembering that purification was huge initiations and was a journey through the underworld And so that level of purification for high levels of source light, you have to burn through the densities, the distortions of hell. And that was something that many of us, probably not just the space that I held, but this space that was moved through to bring in this level of light through the collective. So massive, massive, massive purification took place, and it's going to take about the next 3 months for individuals that went through that level of purification to coming to a level of transcendence. So purification means that you come into attainment and transcendence into your true essence in physical form. And I'm just in deep, deep bows and reverence for these women that came and supported that space. What we experienced, I'm not going to go into details. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Maybe one day. But what was shown to me is what took place in our 12-hour ceremony was showing me exactly what's going to take place now and manifest in the physical matter. To express that in a way that is digestible for human mind is that high level of light that is being anchored into purified vessels means that you are going to attract the extreme density of what you are holding. So if you're this divine feminine expression, this spirit essence coming into the earth now, there is a separation point that's taken place. The extreme lights have been brought in and are getting anchored. And then what happened was those beings that didn't choose to come to the light, what happened is instead of choosing the light, they've actually dropped and chosen extreme density, dark, satanic energy. And I mean extreme. I don't say that from a place of trying to cause fear. I mean that whatever spark of light was in them is not in them anymore. And so there is going to be a lot of beings that you've seen through your spiritual communities that that was dancing between both realms. They're otherwise known as double agents. And these double agents didn't make the choice point of source, and they made the choice points of the 7 deadly sins and this reality. And what's happened is they've plummeted down into that density. And so I would be extremely discerning about who you're receiving coaching from, extremely discerning who you are getting facilitation from, because the covert nature and the seduction and the level of dark feminine that is coming through males and females to be worked through is concerning. What this means is that the galactic trials that took place and finished the day before the eclipse, on the morning of the eclipse, was the last trial. The dark masculine energy has been relinquished from the control structures of the earth. Yes, that will take some time to manifest, but those controllers, and there were 7 specific leaders, they were called the 7 princes of hell. It's funny to the human mind if you want to laugh, but there's very true, real energy signatures that have these vibrational frequencies as you speak them. And these beings have been reprimanded and have basically met divine justice. Now we're going through the 7 feminine energies that rule the underworld. And they work with what is known as the Queen Mother of Darkness. Now, I do not, I know how challenging some of these things are to say, but we talk about dragons and rainbows and angels and all of these yummy things all the time. Now there's an awareness that is required to speak of the things that are not of the light, that are not of God. And these frequencies are going to accelerate and be very, very, very covert, but obvious in the same time. If you haven't danced with demons before, there are some pretty intense ways that they work through. How they work. Basically, demonic energies are not powerful. We think they are, but they're not. They borrow power because they don't have a light source. So what you're looking for, if you want to have a human understanding of this, is to go and do some learning around covert narcissism. So that's the dark feminine. Covert narcissism is going to give you an awareness of what this will look like in a physical human being and give you an interpretation of the psyche and the human mind. But that is just the physical. Now, the manipulation through the multidimensional and through energy fields is really, really dangerous and very quick. And so what happens is, because they are on borrowed energy, they implant and they place feeding tubes and different devices into an energy body, and they will seduce you. So if you've ever seen, in horror movies, this is the best way for me to do it. In horror movies, and you have the really sexy woman that is like, they'll sing to you and they'll be like all this, but there's something not quite right. You're kind of like, I want to come into you, but and you see lots of men basically get seduced by this energy, and then they like literally cut their heart open and eat it. That is the dark feminine in the demonic aspect, and that is going to be quite prevalent. You may not see it, and that's because it's so covert. So it's seducing. It is extremely seducing, seductive, and it's also very trickery. It's like overly lovey, overly sweet, overly sickly sweet energy, where you're like, you're saying the right things, but this feels a bit off. If it feels off, it is off. So that's the first thing. If it feels off, it is off. And don't allow yourself to question your own narrative in relation to judgment, because majority of you are just very fucking hyper aware, and you have awareness of things that are off and are not okay, and you actually put yourself in challenging situations based on your human judgment and your own insecurity levels and lack of faith and trust in yourself. So feeling through the guidance that you have and being very, very aware of what your body is telling you. If you're around someone and your body's contracting, listen to it, please listen to it. If you're putting yourself in situations based on a human story, that you should be more loving, you should be of more light, that you should be X, Y, and Z, I would be looking at your story around what love is, what source is, because the truth is that God, source, creator, sees all things. And being loving is also not enabling, and it's also not self-persecuting, self-sabotaging, or allowing yourself to be the victim of violence or abusive behavior. So there is a fine line of what is considered to be holding space and love. There's something else. Yes, okay. So the chakra systems, in which I will do a post. I am going to be dropping in channel with the beautiful Sophia Rose, which is watching live now. If you haven't already started following her, please go and follow her. She is one of my dearest sisters and deep in service, and such an amazing, powerful amazing, powerful being that has supported me and many other beings. So please support her in her mission, and I look forward to when we will be able to bring forth some of the medicine and magic that we have, as it's a lot. That's all I have to say about that. It's a lot, and it's nothing that you will see already in this reality. It's far greater. She and I are going to drop in and get the new locations of the chakra points. Already aware of 2, haven't tuned into the rest. So we'll be doing a map, drawing out a map from where the current chakra points are and where they need to be relocated to. Now, why this is important is that the current chakras have to move along the grid lines to get to their new location. And so if you imagine the chakra of your own body when it's out of alignment, and then when it comes into alignment, the power surges that take place. So the chakra system and the power that's held within the chakra, as it's moving to its new alignment, it's getting more and more powerful, and it's moving and it's shifting and the frequency is transmuting. What that means is the grid lines and the ley lines under the earth are extremely activated with new frequencies, and that creates Mother Nature to go through her own alignment and resetting. Because we have anchored in this new timeline, there is less ability to manipulate where those chakras go, which is what was taking place with the weather systems in the lead up. They were softening the soil and the earth's matter to make that transition so they could maneuver those chakra points to what they desired, which was more of a 2-dimensional consciousness and not a 5-dimensional consciousness. Now, this shifting and the natural recalibration of our great mother through our own solidification. So this is also why it's very important. Solidify the frequency that you have, and if you're not on your highest timeline, I am actually at capacity, so I cannot support you, but I do know sisters that I could possibly put you in to contact with that can support you, and if it's called in service for the highest good of all and it does feel aligned, I will make space for it. But you have to be one incredible human being to get in my vortex at the moment. Not that anyone isn't, but I mean for the highest good, a recalibration and an alignment of a very evolved expression of consciousness, and we all get lost on our journey, can be the shift that shifts it for thousands of people. So that's my calling, and it's not that I have a hierarchy or superiority, it's what's in the best interest of all beings. Because if you haven't noticed, I am quite depleted. So witnessing the depletion in my physical body and the fact that my body is completely drained of chi and kundalini, and that I'm running purely on source light at the moment, and I need to integrate and recalibrate myself. That map will be provided, and the shifting, the reason, as the chakras move along the grid lines, the frequency is going to cause things like collapses in the Earth's crust, earthquakes, tsunamis, the platelets are going to move, there will be volcanoes erupting, there will be things from the inner earth that will change the structure of the earth based on the frequency moving through the grid lines. Things that have never erupted before, because that chakra system's going to move through that line and make its new position, is going to erupt. There is going to be things in energetic and realignment of the earth that has never been seen on the earth, just like seeing 2 moons. And there is going to be a lot of transformation. Now you can see this as devastation if you like. I would like to see it as transformation into the new timeline, and knowing that everyone on their highest path is going to be love supported, and they're going to listen to the whispers of where they need to be at that point in time. There is absolutely no point in fearing, there is no point in planning, there is no point in looking at this further forward, than what is in the here and now. Let the earth do what the earth does, and allow yourself to do what you need to do to support your own frequency. If you are someone that is very advanced with assisting the earth grids, and you know what you're doing and you've been doing this work for a long time, then yes, assist the grid lines in clearing the way so those new chakra systems can make the transition to their new locational spots. And assist how that will work. But if you are not, if you do not have the discernment, if you do not know what you're doing, please just focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. Because it is not what you do within, and assist with your own realignment, assist with everything else. So unless you have this capacity, just allow those that do to do that, and to invite that support when it is needed. Is there anything else? I feel like that is complete. If you have any questions directly, please put them in the comments below. Remember, if you interact with these transmissions, then more people can see it and get the awareness and the messages. Be honoring to your body, be honoring to your nervous system, and go lay on our great mother, Sister Tara, and receive that rainbow frequency. All right, I love you. Blessed.